essential oils for women's hormonal conditions they have studied. So around 265 volatile molecules they have selected. These receptors included, means the studied receptors are estrogen, progesterone, androgen, etc. They have taken for the study to know the effect of these volatile oil, essential oils. So overall, among different 265 ligands, only about 23 molecules they have showed reasonable binding energies to the investigated receptors that are involved in women's hormonal and reproductive health conditions. What usually we Ayurvedists think that what oil is going to do there. So this is a small study they have done with the essential oils. So what about the other oils and all? What I want to tell through this slide is these oils are adhering to the receptors. You can see here so many receptors they have included under the study. Estrogen, progesterone, etc., androgen, ACHR, dopamine, so many receptors they are working. Among 136 native PDB files investigated, some androgen, aromatase, estrogen, progesterone, HER2, ACHR, dopamine receptors had a better interaction with some of these molecules, such as these are the names of the molecules you can see here: pinocarbone, alpha bisabolol oxide, etc. Even with our active principles, we can perform studies like this. A variety of receptors may be involved in a same health condition, such as infertility. Overall, further in vitro, in vivo, and clinical investigations have to be conducted to consider these molecules as lead compounds for drug development in their sense, in the modern sense. This study is published in the paper is available in PubMed Central. This is in the Journal of Evidence-Based Integrative Medicine, this article published by the Sakteman. So that is the action part and the procedures of the Uttaravasti precautions, follow-up actions. So let us see the research done so far on the Uttaravasti by the premier institutes. The study carried out on the Udavarta Yoni Vyapat with special reference to primary dysmenorrhea. It was a RCT trial. Under two groups they have done, control group and the treated group. Control group, they have given the meftal spas twice a day for 3 days during the period. And treated group administered 3 days from the 9th day of menses for 3 menstrual cycles. Uttaravasti was given. The control group felt symptomatic relief from pain for a few hours, but needed frequent dosing in all the patients with many side effects like the burning sensation, nausea, vomiting, etc. In Uttaravasti group, the improvement was there, and they found it due to the anti-inflammatory action. Lasuna was used in this Uttaravasti trial, which inhibits the synthesis of prostaglandins, relieving myometrial contractions and causing the vasodilatation, leading to the smooth flow of the menstrual blood. And this can be attributed to the aminogag property of the Rasuna. And Trivruta also they have used in that study. This is a laxative and Vatanalomaka. So through these actions, they found better result in Uttaravasti group in Udavarti Yoni Vyapat. And study 2 carried out on 30 number of female infertility cases with the use of falagrutam in the form of intrauterine insufflations. So after the treatment of 3 consecutive cycles, overall increasing result was observed. And in the results, in this study, they have incorporated all factors of the infertility. You can see in this slide, uterine factors, cervical, tubal, ovulatory, and unexplained cases are there. They got better result in uterine factors and cervical factors, and even in the tubal factors. So under the ovulatory factors, 1 patient got conceived, and under the tubal factors, 6 patients got conceived after the treatment. develop another study to develop the standard parameters for the Uttaravasti. They have done a trial in cases of the tubal black with the Shirbalataila, 10 ml as intrauterine insufflation for 3 sittings on 9th, 11th and 13th day of cycle for the 3 consecutive cycles. Selection criteria is the unilateral or the bilateral block, and study results, good response was seen in 30% of cases and fair 21. So altogether 50% of the cases got benefited with the Kshirabala Taila. Probably in this study, if you extend for 4th cycle or 5th, something like that, we may achieve 100% result. And a case reporting fibroid uterus, in this case apamarga ksharataila uttaravasti, 1 cycle followed by the apamarga pichu achieved the disappearance of the 1 fibroid in multiple fibroid case. And this for combined effect of Lasana Pana and Lasana Taila Uttaravasti. The comparative study done in cases of the anovulation due to PCOS. So sample size was 15, condition was the anovulation. Lasanagruta oral was given and Uttaravasti was also given. The results showed that Lasanagruta Pana along with the Uttaravasti is effective in ovulation and also to increase the size of the follicles and in regularizing the menstrual cycle. And this is Evaksharataila Uttaravasti in tubal blockage, fallopian tubal blockage. Evaksharataila was the trial drug, and the sample size 19 patients, among them 42 with the unilateral and 57 with the bilateral block. So as intrauterine insufflation, Uttaravasti was given for 6 days with the interval of 3 days in between. After completion of menstrual cycle for 2 consecutive cycles, they have done this. And the tubal patency was found in around 68.75%. So you can say in around 70% of cases, tubal block was cleared and the conception was achieved in 6.25 patients. Of course, this study was aimed for the tubal block. The maybe 1 patient conceived immediately. And in the Arthavakshaya also, Uttaravasti done with the Krishnatila and Arkapushpa Taila Uttaravasti. And a 3 group study was carried out. Group O is the oral group, that is Krishnatila Kwata orally 10 gram per day for 2 months. And in Uttaravasti group, Arkapushpa Taila Uttaravasti was given 5 ml intrauterine insufflation for 3 consecutive days for 2 cycles. And orally Krishnatila Kwata was continued, and the placebo group, they have given wheat powder as the placebo. And the study carried out Uttaravasti Dhanvantaram Thailam in female infertility under 4 groups such as PCOD group, tubal obstruction group, anovulation, and the menstrual abnormalities group. So drug selected was the Dhanvantaram Thailam. All the patients were given Uttaravasti Dhanvantar Taila after giving Sneha and Sodhanavasti consecutively. 5th day of menstrual cycle after cessation of bleeding. In consequence of Snehavasti, Sodhanavasti, and Uttaravasti for 5 days. The treatment was repeated in the next cycle after same cessation of the menstrual bleeding. And for 3 consecutive cycles. The overall conception rate was 75% in these cases. The effect of treatment on PCOD, tubal block, found highly significant in comparison to the anovulation and menstrual irregularities. But the result of all the 4 groups were statistically significant. A clinical study carried out in the management of Panditva due to the anovulatory cycle with Mahanarayana Taila, Nasya, and Uttaravasti. This is the reference they have taken from the Yogataragini, Vatarava Prakarana, Mahanarayana Taila. And the sample size was 33, having anovulatory factor, being diagnosed by the TVS for 2 consecutive cycles. 3 groups, group A, B, and C. Group A for Nasya and Group B for Uttaravasti, and C is the placebo control. Group A, 8 drops of Mahanarayan Taila administered as a Nasya for 7 days. In Group B, Mahanarayan Taila 5 ml intrauterine insufflation for 2 consecutive cycles, and placebo was given with the wheat flour filled capsules. So in this study, 66% ovulation occurred in Nasya administered group, 28% ovulation occurred in Uttaravasti administered group, and 25% ovulation occurred in the control group. So here they have established that Nasya is more in inducing the ovulation. So there may be some indications also, modern science. Previously, anything to inject inside the uterine cavity, they were not thinking about it. With the cases of the HSG, simple for pushing the dye also, they were very cautious. Means that may lead to the complications like the oil embolism, air embolism, that may prove fatal to the patient. But now, now means not in the current presence. Since almost 10 years, the different trials are going on with the intrauterine instillations of the allopathic drugs. So some studies they have carried out and reported also. The intrauterine installation for pain relief, topical anesthetic they have given as an intrauterine installation to make it as painless to perform the endometrial biopsy. This is simple, the procedure. In these cases, to make it painless for the comfortable dilatation, we can apply the PICU. This technique may be ideal for endometrial biopsies, they told that. The present randomized double-blinded placebo-controlled trial was performed in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Turkey, that is between September 2009 and July 2010. The aim of the study was to compare the efficacy of intrauterine levobupivacaine versus lidocaine and placebo for pain control in patients undergoing endometrial biopsy. Therapeutic, the second indication they have performed is the induction of the therapeutic abortion by intrauterine installation of prostaglandins. So till certain times, even now, they don't prefer intrauterine installations because they are afraid of the complications of their drugs. But in some centers, studies they have carried out with the different indications. So other indication is the induction of the therapeutic abortion. They have done on 15 patients the clinical effectiveness of prostaglandins as abortifacients when administered by intrauterine installation, and compared favorably with the previous studies using the intravenous route. Abortion was successfully induced in 14 patients. It was about 1/3 of amount needed intravenously and side effects were minimal. The study, promotion of endometrial proliferation, another study carried out to promote the endometrial proliferation. They have used a drug here, granulocyte colony stimulating factor, GCSF, as intrauterine installation on the day of ovulation, triggering our oocyte retrieval in infertile women with a thin endometrium. They have selected the thin endometrium cases, and 50 women whose endometrial thickness was less than or equal to the 8 mm at the time of triggering during at least one previous in vitro fertilization cycle, and an index IVF cycle were selected. On the day of triggering or oocyte retrieval, 30 microgram of GCSF was instilled into the uterine cavity. Result, they have found intrauterine installation of GCSF enhanced the endometrial development and resulted in an acceptable pregnancy rate. So installation of GCSF on the triggering day showed better outcomes. So maybe in the textbooks you don't find all these the indications and the drugs they are using for the intrauterine installation. the routine books, whatever you read, the Datta or Sudha Salan, whatever, but you don't get these drugs and the usage of the intrauterine installations. But researchers, they have published all these studies. So I thought of telling you the modern people also doing this practice in different conditions. This practice means I am into indicate the intrauterine installation of the fluids with the different targets of effective medicine. So this is about the practical aspects of the Uttaravasti with special reference to intrauterine installation of the Uttaravasti, that is Apatya Marga Uttaravasti. So I thank all the participants. I thank especially my student Chandramouli, professor, Department of Panchakarma, professor and Coimbatore Ayurveda College, and the principal sir, Dr. Sudhir sir, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your knowledge and providing insights. We have got a few questions from the participants, ma'am. Shall I read it out for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, a woman of age 35, till now she does not undergone her pregnancy. Her menstruation also stops within a day. Does Uttaravasti works here?
Yes, definitely it works. The proliferation is less there, or you can say Dhaturupa Artava formation is less, Artava Kshaya. So, Uttaravasti, even we should not think the local action of the Uttaravasti, it may re-establishing the HPO axis through all the receptors that are present in the endometrium. Definitely it works there.
Okay, ma'am. As a prerequisite, when we have to administer Yogavasti?
As soon as bleeding stops, you can start giving the Yogavasti. Not in the previous cycle. In this present cycle only you have to give Yogavasti.
Ma'am, when a patient is having irregular periods, bleeds only once in 2-3 months, then is it necessary to wait for the bleeding to do Uttaravasti?
Yes, it is preferable. In such case, you have to administer the drugs like the Kumari, etc., or the Setapushpa. Then patient get the menstruation, because start from the retail, or you can say during the Artava Kala, you will get the optimum effect of the Uttaravasti there. But in emergency, it is indicated you can give at any time. This is also mentioned in the Siddhisthana. During emergency, you can give at any time.
Okay, ma'am. Is it possible Uttaravasti can be done in Yogavasti manner?
No.
Okay, ma'am.
Like one Snehavasti and one Kashayavasti, like that.
Sir is
Can we do the Uttaravasti in like Yogavasti, like one Snehavasti and Kashayavasti, like that alternatively? Is there any work done like that?
No, sir.
Either we do only Sneha or Kashaya.
Like the Yogavasti or Kalavasti, etc. In that pattern, we cannot give the Uttaravasti. It is indicated in Shastra that to administer 3 times. I missed it during my presentation, the times of administration in the particular cycle. But it is indicated.
Okay, ma'am. Low AMH, what medicines to be selected for UB?
There you have to select the rasayana that works on the reproductive system. Like you have to go for the Vidari rasayana or Ashwagandha rasayana. You have to select that. But one, you have to subject the patient for the Virechana karma. Then you have to give that rasayana. Then it works in low AMH, definitely.
Okay, ma'am.
Shamla madam published a study, but it requires a long duration of treatment. So patient should wait for even 6 months, sometimes more than that, 8 months also.
Okay, ma'am. In dysmenorrhea, when we want to give Uttaravasti?
In dysmenorrhea also, when bleeding stops, then only give the Uttarasti, not during the menstrual flow, means not during the Rajastava Kala.
Okay, ma'am. If during or immediately after UB, patient undergoes for syncope, what can be done?
Usually, vasovagal syncope gets relieved. The mechanical methods what you are adapting there, that's lowering the head position, keeping low the head position, or tilting the table, keeping the head low. With those the mechanical measures, it is self-resolved. It will get resolved after some time. Shift the patient and just wait and watch for the BP and pulse. That will get resolved. Otherwise, then you have to go.
Only one. I don't want.
Okay,
The
ma'am.
modern. Yeah, we have to give the modern.
Okay, ma'am. Your experience on Arohana Matra Uttaravasti?
It is indicated even in Karsha Pramana gradually for giving the Uttaravasti. Again, it is based on your requirement and the indication of the disease. You can enhance the definitely the Arohana Uttaravasti. You can do it, no problem in that. And indicated in Shastra. Blindly we can adapt.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was an amazing session. May
Excuse
I
me,
now
ma'am.
get
No, 1 minute, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Thanks for your thing, madam. As a student, I have 1 or 2 questions. So can I? Hello,
Mauli, yes.
madam. Like of late, like you said about the thin endometrium and Uttaravasti, madam. So I have seen like cases with thickening of endometrium, which is responsible for the infertility. I have seen nowadays most cases with thickening of endometrium, and because of that, the they are not able to get pregnant. So in this case, what we can do, madam?
In that is the case of hyperestrogenemia, or you can say the vata vitiation is there. It is not able to regulate or control the growth of the endometrium at certain point of time, and not allowing the decidualization in that case. So anovulation will be there in that case. You have to subject the patient for Virechana, 1 course of Virechana. Then you can proceed for the Uttaravasti.
Okay, madam.
Regulates in those cases also, but first thing is subject the patient for Virechana so that the hyperestrogenemia will be resolved there.
Okay, madam. Next one, madam. In endometriosis, because it's very common and very difficult to treat, madam. Any, in the kind of endometriosis, any kind of special Uttaravastis or, anything can we do there, madam?
Yes, you can plan for the Lekana kind of Uttaravasti. You can use the Ksharatailas, Appamarga Ksharataila, something like that. Use it there in
Okay, madam.
endometriosis.
So the third one, madam, why always when everybody talks only they are using oil or grata, madam? Why not kashayam? Because when you see Lekana and all, the Niruha would have been like the Kashayavasti would have been better. Any particular, and wherever in even big institutes also, they are little bit hesitate or to use these kashayams. What is the real reason behind? What is the real reason?
There is no the specific reasons are there. even we are not practicing the Niruha Uttarasti. Sneharika Uttarasti only we are doing. The reason is what I guess is the delivery of the drug, the amount of delivery of the drug is less because intrauterine instillation when you are giving, maybe you have to go for the 10 or 15 ml, not beyond that. But in case of the oil can deliver the in the concentrated form the drug. Comparatively, the Kashaya oil is more concentrated with the active principle of the drug. So the Thaila or the Gruta are preferable medium to deliver the drug in Uttarasti.
Okay, madam. Last question. Like, what is the role of Uttaravasti in amenorrhea, madam? Though it is said that after the menstruation only you should do the Uttaravasti, but you do see secondary amenorrhea, cases. So, can we do something in there, madam, with the with Uttaravasti?
Yes, in Anarthamara Arthavanasha, Uttaravasti is definitely helpful. This Arka Taila, they have studied, you can use the Mahanarayana Taila, Vatahara Tailas you can use. The thing is, you have to re-establish the HPO axis, and through the uterine receptor you can do that. I said in the previous slides also, not simply the local action. Don't simply think that the drug is acting on the local receptors. But these receptors, when you are regulating, even you can control the growth of the endometriosis externa. Similarly, in these cases of Arthavanasa, you are relieving the Rajaroda there. Basically, the Vasti is relieving the Margavaroda in Ayurvedic terms, and in modern terms, the causes lies at two levels. It may be in the HPO axis, defect in the HPO axis, maybe the feedback mechanisms are discovered there. The receptors, low receptors of the estrogen and are there. So when you are giving accordingly, you have to check that in that particular patient, what is the reason there, amenorrhea. Whether the obstruction is at the level of the vata, whether the vata is vitiated and not allowing the, if you remember the sloka that Vayu is responsible for the munchana of the menstruation. So at the level of the of the Dhaturupa Arthava is there. So you have to check in that particular patient, according to you have to select the drug Uttaravasti. So maybe through the receptors, it may re-establish the HPO axis in case of the Vata obstruction is there, if you observe. The hypo formation of the thin endometrium, absence of the growth of the functional endometrium. So there you have to think about the oils that can give the snehana in that case. So you can use like that. Shodhana, Garbhashaya Marga, Shodhana or the Garbha Sneha. You can choose between these two.
Okay, madam. Madam, last question. So, like practically in these conditions, like whether Uttaravasti like Nasya means like every 3 days, 5 days, like the sequence is there. Anything like that? First, like how many sittings? Basically, any standardization is there? Like every day, or once in 3 days, or once in 7 days, or continuous 7 days, something like that. Any standardization is there for to administer?
All India Institute, they have brought the Uttaravasti SOP also. Alternate sites, we prefer to give Uttaravasti. The 3 sittings is the standard one. 3 sittings. Okay. But some practitioners, they go on consequent days, on the 9th day, 10th day, 11th day. But some practitioners, they go for the alternate days. Say suppose on the 9th day, then 11th day and the 13th day. So yeah, both the methods you can adopt.
Totally, how many we can give, madam? How many?
Three is the maximum. 3 is the maximum.
Okay,
See,
3.
The Uttaravasti is even increasing the pelvic congestion there. So if you are prolonging the Uttaravasti, the pelvic congestion may be more in those cases that may further cause some disturbance in the menstrual cycle.
Okay, madam. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much. It was nice, madam. So after 20 years, I have become your student. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, Molly, for connecting me to the major South Indian people, I can say here.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
May
you.
I now request Dr. S. N. Suresh, sir, Professor and HOD of Prasuti Tandran Sri Roga Department, Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, to deliver the vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Good evening, everybody. At the outset, I thank Dr. Bharati Madam for a scintillating performance. It was really excellent, and we have got a complete idea about a modern, updated knowledge about the Uttaravasti. We thanks a lot for your sparing your time and sharing your experiences with us. At this time, at this juncture, we extend our invitation for further programs to share your experience and enlighten our students in future. So we will arrange a stage for that, so that we'll have more interactive sessions, so that our students are benefited more with that. And then thanks a lot. Thank you very much for your performance, madam, for your lecture. And I thank Dr. Sudhir, Dr. Chandramoulishwaran, and all the people who are behind this and to make this program a great success. And I thank all the participants who have benefited by this. Thank you one and all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now I cordially invite Dr. Sudhir Raj N, Principal of Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, to conclude the session. Sir?
Yes.
Sudhir sir, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Bharati Madam, for sharing your valuable experience about Uttarabasti in gynecology practice. It was a wonderful session. Madam had discussed very well about different cases in Ayurvedic perspective and usage of different combinations of Uttarabasti in practice. Once again, thank you very much for taking time and sharing your valuable experience, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
And in the first session, Dr. Narayan Bavalati shared his experience on common ocular disorders in general practice, and he explained well about Ayurvedic management of ocular disorders. Thank you very much, Dr. Bavalati, sir, for your informative session. And thank you all the participants from India and abroad who had joined with us today. And I thank Diksha e-learning for powering the program. Thank you all once again. Thank you. Madam, thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Good night, madam. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Influence of a great teacher can never be erased. And to the world, you may be just a teacher, but to your students, you are a hero. Thank you is not a sufficient word, but still, thank you, teachers, and each and every participants and persons behind Samskriti.
Our next Samskriti webinar will be on the 5th of August at 5 p.m. by beloved Dr. P.T. Chako sir, retired Principal MD, Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, on the topic Common Bala Rogas and their clinical management. To know more about our updates, do stay connected with our social media platform. Stay safe, sleep well. Shubhratri. Thank you.